Hello and welcome to Tao Radio.
Thanks for joining us. This is Muna and
Lia,
and we're here to take you on a journey with us while we explore the great sounds, music, arts and cultures from all around the world.
Critics have praised her as ensorcelante, bewitching, and magnetically powerful, describing her visceral, evocative storytelling. Dafné Kritharas has a unique ability to embody mythic, poetic images with her pure yet intense vocal mastery. Half French, half Greek, raised in France, the matter and substance of her music blends rebetika, Anatolian folk, Ladino, Bosnian, Armenian, Turkish music, jazz, rock alternative, and electronic textures into a sound that is both ancient and entirely vivid, weaving these oral traditions into musical narratives very rich with emotional lore. She's also a self-taught musician, and there is nothing off-range to this siren who seems to transmit messages from forces greater than human. Her debut album, Joyas de Mar 2018, offers a spellbinding journey through the Aegean, rebetiko, and Judeo-Spanish Ladino pieces from interwar eras of the 1920s and 30s, and her follow-up, Varka, in 21, continued her trajectory as an innovator of traditional songs, earning her the distinguished recognition, notably for as the recipient of the Académie Charles Cros World Music Award in 2022, as well as a worldwide reputation. Several years after we met on a Greek island, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Dafné. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for all your amazing words.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm the biggest fangirl. I remember discovering you online on YouTube during the pandemic with Irme. And I just started following you. And then luckily we were able to meet in Greece because you were performing there and we were on the same island. So tell us a little bit now about your association with islands in your own personal lineage or where music roots started for you.
No, I didn't know from where to start. I was going to Greece. I was raised in France. I still live in France. But I was going to Greece every year for 2 months, every year. And during the Easter and the summer, there was a lot of panegyria, which are like a festival, village festival traditional, where they celebrate a saint. They're supposed to, but in not all the island, they are not celebrating necessarily saints. They are just celebrating life. And I was listening to the music of the islands in this panegyri. This is the name of the feasts. And I was seeing the people dancing, and it was something very sacred for me when I was little. We were going there. My heart was full of, I was very excited to go there. I knew we would eat the goat, we would eat some fries, potatoes fried, and we would listen to the music until the morning, which was amazing for our children because we are not supposed to be waken up until the morning. So I was listening to the violin playing. It was really making us how do you say, drunk of happiness and music. I was not drinking, but I was drinking the music, and it was going into my soul. And I think that I heard many of the songs, and unconsciously, it came into my veins, and that's how I discovered the Greek music in the Greek village fest. There were also in the cafenia, the cafe, there was the coffees, I don't know how you say.
Coffee shops. Well, it would translate, I suppose, like a coffee shop, but they're specific for Greece.
Yeah, they're specific. You can also drink ouzo and eat some little things. And there were rebetiko players getting out the bouzouki, sometimes the oud, the guitar, the violin, playing all together, people all knowing all together the lyrics, and also singing songs from the islands, island songs. Voilà.
That's how old were you when you started joining those circles and singing and learning those songs with them?
The first time I dared to sing, it was with rebetiko players. It was when I was 15. Of course, it was amateur rebetiko players. The guy was holding a tavern, and he loved to sing and would play bouzouki and guitar, but he was not professional, and he had this very low voice. La, 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 la. He was smoking a lot, and my parents were friends with his parents, and he knew that I was a bit singing, and he said, "Daphne, sing." And I started to improvise the amane, which is like a long complaint, maybe
Lament, yeah?
lament in Greek, and you say, and I just did this, and I remember everybody was silent, and I remember something magical happened, meaning I was really sharing what I was feeling to the people, and people was receiving it. And for me, I think this is the moment that I discovered the power of the voice, because it can connect the cells directly, immediately.
Yeah. Your voice gets stuck inside of my body when you sing. And there's many techniques that you use that come from deep, deep, deep traditions. So you say you learned these songs by oral tradition, like the songs were originally passed down. How does your vocal approach, or what did you do to develop this voice that is so connected with the original sort of sound of the music?
I would not dare to say I'm not a specialist or something at all, but it's true that it was indirectly oral transmission. They didn't know, the musician, when they were singing. They didn't know they were transmitting it because I was very silent. I started to really unveil to the people that I was singing quite late, like in the teenage, but I was singing since I'm very, very little. I started to, maybe I was two, I don't remember. I just remember it was healing myself when I was singing. I was feeling that I was flying. And when I was in the sorrow, when I was sad, not well with other people, I was just going alone and singing alone, and it would kind of cure me, like a self-cure. and and the thing is, like, I never learned to sing or never learned to read notes. I don't know how to read the partition. I don't know at all. I started to take some lessons when I was like 12 or something. I was the last, I was very bad pupil. I don't understand. It was theoretic.
Yeah.
Theory. I didn't understand. So I have a very wild way of learning. But the thing is that they didn't know, but all the musicians I saw on the stage, all the CDs that I heard, for me, I saw them like a lesson. But they didn't know. But for me, I was like, okay. And I learned from them without they know.
Amazing.
They're the best teachers.
That's so powerful what you're saying. And I'd like to lean in a little bit more around language and memory, because I think your work is so infused with, of course, folkloric contains our memory of people and wisdom that's being passed through your voice. If I first talk about language, because this is another thing that's very unique to you, Daphne, you're able to sing across all these different traditions in those languages. How does the different languages shape the music, and how do they tell different stories? Or what are the stories do those languages carry for you?
Of course. This was a big question, because there is the cultural appropriation question. Of course, I didn't want to do such a thing without the acceptation of the people themselves, the ethnicity itself. And I'm not the only one who sings in many languages. There are so many singers who does this. But thank you so much for telling me this. And for example, the Judeo-Spanish, the Ladino songs, it's my cousin Bahia Al-Basha, who is it's a long story, but she used to sing to me the songs, to me and my sister, and when she was looking after us, because she was older than us. And she was singing like lullabies, and we used to listen to them. So I always had them, as I said before, in my veins. And I was really interested in the story of the songs. And the language of Ladino is really specific, because unfortunately it disappears in the world. But slowly, only the old people are singing it. But what I think is beautiful is that this is a language that it comes from the 1940 no English 1492 how do you say
Yeah, 1400s. 92, 92,
yeah
1492.
92 and 1492
Yeah.
and they were the Jewish Spanish or the Sephardic were chased by the Catholic Elizabeth, and they could go to the Ottoman Empire in the Balkans, so in Greece, in Bosnia, in Turkey, and they were still speaking this language, which is Ladino, which is like Spanish but with other pronunciation. They were also having some Turkish words, some Greek words, um, and there are some melodies which exist at the same time in Greek, at the same time in Ladino. But also, because it was the Ottoman Empire, there were also other ethnicities, which are the Bosnian, for example, the Armenian, the Kurdish, the Arabic people. There were so many, and all the Balkans. So they were sharing a common. They didn't speak maybe the same language, but they were singing some songs that were sister songs, because it was existing in all the languages with one melody reuniting all those countries, which I think is very beautiful. And that's what interested me, and that's how I went to 10 years ago. I did a big tour in the Balkans, and for quite a long time, 2 months, 3 months, and I stayed like 3 weeks in Bosnia. I met a lot of people of Bosnia too, and that's how I sung a song in Bosnia in my second album. Very beautiful song that I remember. I arrived in a cafe and all the people were singing together. With the accordion, it was smoky everywhere, and what stunned me is that it's a mix between the Slavic and the Ottoman music. It's really a beautiful mix, and I think what is more beautiful than mixed? It leads to some beautiful music, because it has the power of the music of Slavic, the power of the music of Ottoman, the power of the music of I don't know, etc., etc.
Something very alchemical when you're describing all of this. And it's the capability through your voice and traveling through time to enter these shared memories that connect all of us, really, because we all in some way have traversed these places through our ancestors, through our own explorations. And it's very beautiful that you bring that all in the contemporary for us. So thank you so much. It's beautiful. And as you were speaking, I wanted to even ask a little bit more, because it's not only that you're doing, you're also participating in the contemporary. Not only do you blend rebetika, Anatolian folk, Ladino, Bosnian, Armenian, Turkish, as we've spoken, but there's also jazz and rock alternative and electronic textures in the music that you do. And I'm interested on you not only as the performer or the voice and the history of it, but also in your skills and how do you research, how do you manage all these archives? Can you share a little bit of that process of alchemy that you do to bring these to life?
I think the best lesson is to meet the people with those ethnicities. If you meet the people, it's not anymore the theory, it's not anymore a book with something very serious and very rigid that you read. It's the soul of the people, the smile, the expression. And you talked before, does every language has a specificity? It's true. They have their personality. The people of any or of many countries different. Each language has its personality, and that's what it's beautiful. For example, in July, I went to North Macedonia, which are supposed to be, enemy of Greece because of the name Macedonia. It's nationalism stupid, and and there they have a beautiful music, but also they have one of the biggest gypsy community in the world, which is there is Shutko, which is the biggest village in the world, I think, of a village. It's like a town district, but it's like a town in the town in Skopje, a district of gypsy people. So we went there and we met so many gypsy people, and they speak Turkish a lot. It's like Ottoman gypsy, and their music is gypsy, but there's a big influence of Ottoman roots. It's funny because in Macedonia, some people don't speak even Macedonian. There are 27% of Albanese. Albanian music is amazing, by the way. And there is so many gypsies. They speak at the same time Macedonian, Romane, Turkish. But the language they speak the best in Macedonia, the gypsy, is the Turkish, from the gypsy Turkish communities. So we went there and we met any child, any grandmother were singing, were playing. Amazing. I mean, no, not so many grandmother were dancing. Women were more dancing, and unfortunately, it was more reserved to the men who were a lot of doing music, and they were like, you were meeting a 9-year-old boy, starting to sing with him, and I was asking, do you know this song in your language? And he said, yes, it exists, and they start to sing it, and it's amazing because you discover that there are so many links, and it's like for the oral transmission, they have an expertise of the listening. I remember we were invited at the table with a grandmother and all her family, a gypsy grandmother. She was dancing like this with the mandili, with I don't know the name, the thing like, and the scarf, yes. Sorry. And the child was playing a very difficult rhythm. He was 9-year-old, with the darbuka. And the uncle was here, and he was playing trombone because they're amazing at trumpet, trombones, and all this.
Wind, yeah.
And but he didn't have it, and we could feel he wanted to play, but he couldn't. So he was doing a little directions to the child, like just play like a little thing, but the thing was telling everything, And they have an expertise of listening, of improvising. They are the best improvisers. Like, they're amazing. The gypsies are the best improvisers because also they come from India, and they, as I said, the mixing, they carry all the mixing of all the country they crossed, and it's extremely rich. It's horrible, my comparison, ChatGPT and all these IE things. They combine all the human knowledge, and then something the IE cannot take, because it's only something you can understand by seeing the expression of people, the expressivity, the soul and feeling. I don't think IE can feel.
No, and it's all too human. I mean, this is what excites me about folklore, what I know excites Lia about folklore. And this is so interesting because the next question we have is, we see folklore as the diary of the people.
Yes, it's true. And it's a beautiful image.
And it speaks to what is often left out in the history books. And what's so exciting with us having these conversations with musicians like you is that actually that diary is now being transmitted to more and more people, to people who lost their diaries or misplaced their diaries.
Of course, because with colonialism, with empires, we want to shut up the little people who with the tongues, it's absolutely terrible, and it still unfortunately happen, and it's banalized. For example, of course, I think about the Palestine right now, but there are so many other people in Congo, Sudan, in Uyghur people, and Kurdish people are in Karabakh in Armenia, and they try to erase the people, and they do, and we don't do nothing to stop it.
They do.
Horrible. Yeah. It's absolutely horrible.
And then, can I just ask about how you garnered attention? Because from what I've seen, a lot of the time, people from these communities actually don't feel they can express this music because of the judgments in the colonial world. And for example, Bulgarian musicians who wanted to hide actually these rhythms, which are the most amazing things. But they said, no, 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 because I'll be judged and I should pretend that I'm not from here. But
Yes, because for example, Kurdish people in Turkey, they forbid them to speak the language. They go to prison. It's an example. Uyghur people, they go to camps, and also, of course, the Ladino. The Ladino, it was special because it's just the old people don't speak now anymore to the people, and also, of course, there are so many, unfortunately, Ladino people who disappeared in the Holocaust. So this is also the main reason, unfortunately, and it's terrible because history repeats itself all the time. But I think music should be held as a tool of resistance, in my opinion. And all these little ethnicities and communities sharing all this. And for myself, for example, I go often with friends. We gather together, and those friends are from Armenia, Azerbaijan, which are enemy, Greece, Turkey, Iran, Brazil, and Senegal also. I mean, there are so many ethnicities in Paris where I live, and this is the most rich lesson that I can have too. This is not only Greece is amazingly rich, but there is not only Greece existing. There are also all those ethnical music and amazing music for everywhere, and we have to learn from one to the other. And the Greek music is amazing too, and it's funny because geographically, for example, in the north east of Greece, Thraki, it's close to Bulgarian music. There is the links very northwest, close to Epirus. It's close to Albanian music, and Albanian music is amazing. I think it's protected by UNESCO patrimony. And it imitates also the screams of the animals, the noises, the goat, but in a way so beautiful. And when I first heard it, I had the feeling that it was, I don't know the word in English, I would say original, the original music, like coming from the depths of
the womb of the earth.
the womb of the earth,
Mhm.
and like the origins of the
Can you
music.
give us a demonstration? I think you can do this.
No,
No?
it's very specific. Yeah, I
Okay.
will imitate, like I will sound like a goat. So
Yeah.
but but it's so beautiful, and I will send you a link if you want. They do something, and they mix harmonies which are really not common, and it's amazingly beautiful. So I made a digression, but there's also Kalamata, the music from Kalamata, which has a special rhythm. Each island also has its specific music rhythm. They are sisters, the music of the island, but yeah, Kriti, of course, have his special instrument, the lira, lauto, and there is also all the Aegean part, and they share also many links with Turkish music, like
Travel the world. Mhm.
yeah, it's really, it has many borders, and Greece also is in the middle of the Occident and
Yes.
Orient. I don't know if the good words in English,
Yes,
but
yeah.
so it has this richness.
Yeah. This connects the continents, really. It's right in the middle. So are you working on more original music at the moment? What is your project today? What can we send our listeners to explore? And what can they expect? Hmm.
I fed myself with so many musics. I had the luck to sing so many musics and to discover so many music. There are some melodies who started to come in 2020 in my dreams when I was walking, and I immediately record the melodies. So I started to compose. And now there is my third album, which is coming out in 17th of October, and it's only my own compositions. But of course, it is inspired with all the music that I discovered. I love classical music also. For example, there are some classical instruments also. There is some music which is a bit of electro, even a bit metal, a bit rock, some which are more jazz, with some which have traditional instruments like zurna, lira, and it's also stories that I invented for most of them. And I was raised in France because my father was Greek, but he died when I was 2 years old, so I didn't remember him. But my mother brought us every year 2 months in Greece, sorry. But she was French, but she taught us to speak Greek with her accent and all this. But I listened to the people speaking Greek too. My mother was listening to all the CDs too. And yes, I speak Greek, but with many mistakes. I don't have an accent, but I speak with many mistakes. And I wouldn't dare to write. I tried to write, but it was for Greeks. It sounds very strange because there are tonic accents, and I don't put them in the right place. So I met Alexandros Emanuelidis, a lyricist, amazing lyricist. I sent him the melodies ready, the music all done with the structure. I tell him, Alexandros, I would like to speak about this. I would like. Sometimes I send him the whole story, and he respects it or not, because what is difficult, he has to write the lyrics on the melody pre-existing, which is not a melody easy for Greek, because Greek words are really long, and it's difficult to match it with melodies which are really complicated with the tonic accent. So it's specific to this, and so it's my composition. There are three singles who were released already. Hara, you can write Xapa for a
Yes.
stranger
The
because
Greek
I wrote
R
it in
key.
the yeah. Hara, so it's one of my composition with Alexandros Emanuelidis lyrics. There is Ferte, and there is also the one that just came out, which is Enastros Uranos. With the English accent, maybe it would be Enastros Uranos, Enastros Uranos, which means starry sky. And it talks about a little child who looks at the sky and sees it slowly covering with scars. And the scars, the wounds, are covering all the stars behind. But the little child down here keeps counting and remembering the name of any star that has disappeared behind the wounds and the scars.
That's
Of course,
beautiful.
it could be metaphorically many things. We think about the child who are the first victim of war. And well, there are so many songs that there are going to be also 3 songs in French, and there are so many different instruments. There are lira, cornemuse, duduk, zurna, there's piano, derbuka, drums, daf, dauli. There are so many. It's mixed completely. I could not say my style is like this. Like it's. I imagine the song and I imagine how could it be good. And I work also with my amazing musicians and my musicians that are accompanying me. And the result comes from the work of all of us.
Dafné, your performances have been described as rituals, that they're intimate, that they're emotional, and they're deeply rooted in ancestral memory. And the reflections people have when they come to see you live is like a remembering, like a remembrance. And I wanted to talk a little bit, because we were talking about the music, but you also perform publicly. So can you tell us just a little bit about, the background to your performance? Is how do you embody it when you're there with this folklore, with these oral traditions that you've made contemporary and participating in?
Yes, before the concerts, I want to be very well on the stage, to feel every minute, to feel every instant. So I do some kind of rituals, but I don't know if it's just to be very concentrated, because I do some acrobatic work with my voice, and I don't like when I cannot reach a note or something. So I do kind of before the concert. It's halasana. I do this for maybe sometimes half an hour, or it depends. And because usually we travel during the day, so it's very tiring. We do like 5 hours traveling, and I'm tired, so I have headache and all this. So I do halasana for maybe half an hour if I can, maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes when I cannot. But I need to do it, otherwise the concert is not the same. I don't sing very well when I don't do halasana. I eat only 6 hours before, only 2 eggs boiled with a bit of bread. Then I eat after the concert, but I don't eat before because I cannot sing properly. So it's kind of discipline, but I love it because I love to sing, and the most important thing is that what I will share with the people, the public. It's more important than anything for me.
They're exceptional, your performances, really, completely.
you very much.
Muna, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to just ask you, because we covered so many things, just to end in a kind of reflection from you on how do you see the role of folklore today? Do you see it growing? And how can we all play a role in making sure this shared wisdom, this shared diary, is cherished and taken care of?
I think, yes, I see it growing. Maybe the social media, more people get to know other people, cultural music, ethnical music. In Greece, for example, there is so many young people who sing more and more traditional music, and it's so beautiful. Since the crisis, actually, since 2010, they started to grow more and more, and there are so many amazing singers, musicians. Wow, in Greece, there are like the singers are top. There is a singer I discovered a few years ago, which is Nefeli Fashouli. She's
Love
amazing.
her.
Oh, she's really amazing. And she sings jazz, but in with the traditional way of singing. She's amazing. Like I got in love with her voice, and of course, I'm very how do you say optimistic with the traditional music. I think also that people are getting bored with all the autotune, the vocoders, the voice which are sorry for the horrible noise. It looks like a goat. They are bored with this, and they start to want some more natural thing to get to the roots.
Yeah, and the range also, because it's suffocating to be trapped within a certain frequency, right? And I think what folkloric music does is it breaks all these
It's
confines of an imposed form that maybe is not really natural to us,
exactly.
right? Mm.
It's like plastic music. For me, it's like plastical music. All the vocoders. It can be used sometimes, rarely, interesting ways, but usually it's like industrial music, McDonald's, for me.
Absolutely. Not that rich Greek goat from the village.
Exactly.
At Easter time. When can we see you on stage? Is there a concert coming soon?
I'm going to be on the stage. I was yesterday in Paris Jazz Festival. Was really happy. In France a lot. I will be in Olympia, but I will open the concert of a friend, Clara Isé, on 9th of September. Olympia is a very beautiful place. Beautiful. It's like 2,000 places in Paris, so I'm very wow. For me, it's crazy. I have a lot of concerts in France in autumn. I will come to sing in Greece in November, middle November. I don't know where the place. We wait an answer for now. In Athens, of course, I will let you know. And I will play in Théâtre du Châtelet in Paris on 19th of January, which is a very important place. So it's going to be the release 3 months after the release, the release on the stage of the album. So I'm looking forward for this. And I'm going to play also in Turkey, I think in November too. In Holland, beginning of October, I will play in Holland. I think, yeah.
Well, wishing you great performances and the best times doing all of
Thank you
these
so
wonderful
much.
shows. And also, I think you're going to become an aunt. Is that right?
How do you? Yes, absolutely. In autumn, in 1 or 2 months, probably.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
Amazing.
blessings for the shows, blessings for the new life, for your sister,
Thank you.
and for your
Yeah.
partner also, Paul, another amazing musician.
Thank you.
Sure.
You're really sweet. Thank you, Lia.
Have a beautiful evening.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this conversation just as much as we have. And maybe you've started thinking about what folklore means to you. Or maybe you are already participating in more than one folklore. We would love you to keep listening as we explore these conversations and ideas together. Please follow us on this channel you're listening on or any of our social media handles. And also, if you're interested in participating with us in this radio show, or if you have any ideas or feedback or comments, please do not hesitate to send them to us on towradio@towfestival.com.